Hi, it's Porter William back with Entertaining People, San Francisco style, and today it's going to be an incredible dinner for two. Dinner by the fire is what I like to call it. We've got great asparagus soup, we've got a saltimbocca, and most importantly, my good friend Stephanie. Stephanie with an F is here, and I'm going to transform a room into a dining spot like you've never seen before. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. I'm Porter William, and I've been entertaining, event planning, and cooking for over 25 years. Finally, I get to share my secrets with you. No matter if you have a one-room apartment or a grand scale estate, we'll learn how to entertain from San Francisco to the beaches of Spain, from menu planning to tablescapes. I'll teach you how to entertain from the heart. From a memory, make a memory. Join me as we entertain the world one table at a time, next on Entertaining People. Welcome back. We're getting ready to cook our dinner for two. You know, everything I do is from a memory, and I'm just thinking as I'm sitting here chopping this onion for our first course, which is a white cream of asparagus soup. But today I'm going to show you how simple it is. First thing is we're going to start our chopped onions. I've got about a cup and a half diced. And in my stock pot, because we're working with the soup, I already have 1 cube of butter and some of those onions going. Let's just add that to it. And see that beautiful caramelization that's going on? On a creamy soup, I like just a hint of onion, so we're gonna let that cook down for just a moment. And then the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to take our cleaned and our dried white asparagus. I don't know if you have these at your local grocer, but take a look at these. The white asparagus. When we do an asparagus, we actually break it for the tender spot. You've seen me do that before. But in this case, because it's a soup and we're gonna puree, I'm gonna use everything. I'm just gonna cut the ends off of these. There we go. Line them up nice and even, and one big shot will take those woody edges off, and then continue to cut, I would say, in bite-sized pieces. What's gonna happen is we're actually just gonna stew these asparagus in with some chicken stock and some vegetable stock. You've got the option to use 1 or 2. Today I'm using 2 stocks just to add some depth and some body to the flavor. All of our asparagus is in the pot. I'm raising the heat right now just to get a little bit of heat. White on white. What a great color. I'm gonna top it with some creme fraiche right before I serve it, and it's gonna be great. I've got some beautiful chicken and vegetable stock. First one's going in as vegetable. I use about 6 cups, but I'm only cooking for 2. You know me, my philosophy is always have 1 extra. Let's add our chicken stock. We're gonna bring that to a boil. I'm not gonna season this until we come out, except for just a pinch of white pepper. No black peppers in white vegetable soup. So we're gonna go with white. Look at that. Boy, that's great. You'll probably sneeze if you do that. A quick stir. We're gonna bring this to a boil. Cover it, simmer. Saltimbocca, which is typically done with a veal, but I'm gonna make it with the chicken. It's gonna be a little roulade. We're gonna roll it together. And raclette. If you're not familiar with raclette, it's a super strong cheese. My dad used to keep it on top of the refrigerator because it stunk the house up so much. My mother would never let him put it in the refrigerator. But let me tell you, all that stinky smell comes out in flavor. You love it. Raclette is served in Switzerland and in France in the Alps. And after skiing, you have these wonderful boiled potatoes, and you have cornichons and like a boar's head ham. In the old days, it actually used to be a dried horse meat. And it's really a celebration dinner. You all sit around the same raclette machine and you peel off your cheese and you put it on individually. We'll have a raclette episode soon on Entertaining People. But today I'm doing a combination of a sage chicken raclette for Stephanie. It's gonna be amazing, but what I'm gonna start on now is actually the sauce. And so I've got a cube of butter melting right here. And I have these beautiful, beautiful, dark sweet dried cherries. Absolutely nothing else. We're gonna add some dried fruit in there. This is gonna be a really dense sauce. And then some gorgeous imported black currant jam. Anybody can do this. What we're trying to do is get a glazy type consistency. As that melts down, back with our black currant and our beautiful cherry glaze that I'm making. Now you can see that I really have that coming up to a quick boil. I want to rehydrate all of those beautiful, beautiful dried cherries. And you know, some people might choose to cut them down, but I'm gonna like it kind of chunky on top of that. And then here come these peppercorns. Look at that, green, black, white. I love this. This is gonna be a little take on Steak Diane. We're gonna drop some peppercorns in there. This is just gonna steep. We've got a great little kind of bite in this flavor with all the sweet and the tart. It's gonna be really good, really good. I'm hoping those are gonna soften up and you'll be able to bite right in those. So peppercorns for everyone, watch out. One's coming right at you. And now's when we're gonna add the real intensity of the flavor. First, that dark balsamic. Get that in there, tablespoon or two. So that just settled down when that vinegar went in there, and now you can really smell the contrast in the flavors. We're adding depth, layers, and volume, just like a symphony. White balsamic to lighten up the high notes in the flavor. If you like it a little bit sweeter, add a tablespoon or two of sugar. Starting my sweet potato fritters by grating them. I'm just using my regular cheese box grater, and I really like this. You can go to a food processor, but just a couple of good strong pulls will give you the texture that you want the fibers to be long enough so that they connect with the batter in the pan. Otherwise, they're just gonna all fall apart. So I'm gonna continue with this. And one of the things that I really like about working with sweet potatoes is that they've got a lot of starch in them, and that actually helps bind this. So we're gonna put our sweet, wow, look at the orange in that. That is great, beautiful. Add a little bit of flour, and I like just a little bit of olive oil in this mix. You definitely wanna salt these. I'm gonna use my gray salt. Always having fun with my different salts. Only white pepper. Again, we're cooking everything light for Stephanie today, so white pepper is going to give it just enough spice and bite. In a skillet right here, I'm going to heat some regular cooking oil. Just enough, pretty much like you do a pancake. Heat that up until it's just starting to bubble. I've got my 2 eggs, and always we use a grade A large egg with any recipe in an American cookbook. I'm just going to beat these up really quick. We'll put one in there, and the second one. It's just a couple turns in my measuring cup. Add just a little bit of dairy to bind this. That's really all it's going to take. And we can just combine this in right here with our sweet potatoes. Look at that going in, so easy. These are also really good if you'd like to do a sweet version using perhaps some allspice, or think of your grandmother's sweet potato pie. Last thing to add the savory are some great scallions. Chop off those ends, and just a couple of quick thin slices. Keep those knuckles down. I'm going to put those in, and then I like to just take a little portion off, and then for color, I'm going to do these on a bias angle. Little bit of drama in that fritter as well. There they go. Let's get those in there. Beautiful green. And be careful when you're going to put in one of these fritters, but we're basically, look at the color of that. We're just going to lay those right in, spread them out. Perfect. Normally I get about 2 per pan. If you add too many items to your hot oil, it's just going to reduce the temperature. Now look at those fry up. See that edge right on the end there? Well, when she bites into that, she's going to get a little bit of that crunch. And it's also, again, going to be our stage, our plateau to hold that raclette saltimbocca. These take just a quick minute. Don't touch these for the first couple seconds. They'll just slide right around the pan. Looks like a bit of a fried egg, and these are actually coming up quite quickly. Get under that and flip it. Perfect. Look at the brown. This one, by the way, I like these all odd shapes. Look at that. How sweet is that? Sweet potato fritter right here on Entertaining People. These are almost done. Once I make sure that's crispy, and it is, slide that off, and we'll just drain those on a paper towel. Look at that. You can just pick that up. It's almost kind of like an egg fouillon. Transfer them to a baking sheet. And again, I love the odd shapes and the crunchy edges. We're just gonna set this aside. This is gonna go into just a 200 holding oven. And I'm gonna bring over our white asparagus soup and show you how healthy and how, are you there? How good this really is. If you don't have an emulsion blender, use food processors or a blender. Basically, we just start in here. Keep the liquid moving. Notice how I'm tilting it away from me, keeps anything from splashing. You want to keep the base of the emulsion blender all the way in the deepest side. That is actually done. These are really handy tools. I'm seeing a consistency that I'm quite happy with. Now, you know I reserved my chicken and my vegetable broth in case I wanted to add a little bit more, but right now I'm perfect. So here comes the fun. Now, you don't have to add the cream or the half and half, but just a couple tablespoons is gonna really add some body to this soup. We'll stir that in. Now it gets creamy and white. Oh, look at that, beautiful, hold on. Salt and pepper is what we need. A little bit of salt, that should do it. And remember on this soup, white pepper only, nothing ground. And I think we can take probably the rest of that teaspoon. One last stir, and this is gonna be ready for Stephanie. Nothing like taking out your aggressions on the food. I'm just finishing pounding up a chicken breast. There's a little bit of technique involved here, but the first thing that we wanna do is we want a very large, fresh chicken breast, and we're gonna take and remove this tenderloin right there, and we're gonna drop our two little tenderloins, you can give them actually a little chop, into our food processor, and we're gonna grind those into just a little paste, a couple pulses. There we go, perfect. Now what this is gonna do, I don't know if you've ever had like a chicken Kiev or something like that, or a cordon bleu where all the cheese fell out. This is actually gonna help bind it all together. What you caught me doing though was pounding, and that's what's next. Slice wide side, and with a flat knife in your hand, perfectly, we wanna just slice right across the middle of that chicken breast. And we are just gonna open that up and butterfly it, look at that. And that's when we're gonna start to pound. Now the secret on this is a Ziploc bag, and this will give you the strength so that you don't break all the fibers. Put your chicken breast into the Ziploc bag, and I'm always cooking with things that bring me memories. Well, this is my granddaddy's cast iron skillet. When I was a kid, he'd make cornbread in this, and I always loved to cook with stuff. Okay, so first something tough and strong, right on there, we're gonna pound that. And then once we get that thinned out, I want you to move to a soft edge pan right here so that we can roll it out. You want to pound it down to just between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch. You'll take that right out of your Ziploc bag, and this is where the magic begins. We're going to just season the inside of that meat just a little bit, and then with our food processor, we're going to pop this off, and we have our roulade de poulet right here, and this is just going to be a paste that we're going to put right on the inside, just enough so that it coats and it holds together. And then a beautiful piece of boar's head or your favorite ham. God, I always used to sneak these when I was a kid. We're gonna lay that in there. We'll just shave some pieces of raclette, not too thick, and we'll just kind of put that right in the center. I would say two will do it. And the best part is we're gonna put entire whole sprigs of beautiful, beautiful sage right here. And then nice and easy, we're just gonna start from one end, and I'm gonna roll this beautiful little package of raclette saltimbocca up, seam side down, tongs or a spatula. I've got some olive oil smoking right to the point with butter just to control the heat, and very, very carefully seam side down. I'm gonna go right in the skillet. I'm gonna let that brown. Our cherry sauce all set to go. Look at that, see how beautiful these came out? One more here just for me. Wow, can't wait to see you back. We're gonna put our raclette saltimbocca in an oven. Our raclette saltimbocca should be ready. We've got a little bit of heat on it. Let's just see what we've got right here. That's perfect. It's coming together absolutely wonderful. You can see our two roulades right there. I'm gonna grab a pair of tongs, and I'm gonna transfer these right over to my sweet potato fritters on a warm tray. They're gonna go back in the oven, and they're just gonna hold until we're ready to serve those. I'm gonna go instantly to a quick vermouth sauce with my pan drippings. Just gonna add a little bit of vermouth, tablespoon or two, that's all you need. And we wanna bring up all these brown bits. Now, I'm gonna drizzle this first onto my roulades to give it a really great savory flavor from all of that wonderful sage. And then secondly, I'll put the cherry sauce and the black currant on top of that. So this will sit and continue just to reduce down. My next dish is going to be individual spinach soufflés, and we start with a basic roux. A roux is just a mixture of flour and butter. And then just start mixing until we have a paste-like consistency. Now you can thicken a roux with milk, but if you get pretty good right on that, do you see that? That's just the slightest bit of heat on here. We'll bring it up, and that's going to be thickened now. On a blonde souffle, I like to keep the roux blonde, so a creamy vanilla flavor and coloring is what we're looking for here, not a brown roux. We'll let that sit, and then we'll come over to our mixer, and what I have very simply are 2 eggs, which I've already put into my bowl here. We're going to drop those in, and we're going to turn on the mixer so it's going to get loud. And I'm going to add just a little bit of half and half. Spray some non-stick cooking spray, and we'll just continue to whip. It takes just a minute. And now you see the roux has all come together. The thickening agent is going to be perfect. Now I have 1 package of thawed and drained chopped spinach, which I'm going to add. Mix that in with your roux. You can turn your heat down a little bit. And we're going to add our milk, just so that we get the slightest bit of liquidity in that. Look at that. See that beautiful green cream spinach? Now, from our mixer, and just add that little by little. We don't want to scramble them, so we're going to go really quick, and I am off the heat entirely here. And I like to use just a large tablespoon, and I'm going to fill each of my ramekins with my beautiful creamed spinach. Add salt and white pepper to taste. We're going to put these in an oven, just about 350, 325. We'll just set them right in, right on the top of our rack. Our cream of asparagus soup, our white asparagus, how exotic is that, is all ready. I'm going to show you this great plating technique. I have these beautiful stemless martini glasses, and they're extra heavy, so I know they're going to hold some soup. Use an 8-ounce ladle whenever I serve up soup. Look at that. I'm going to show you a little trick of mine. We're going to get a small baggie from your local grocery store, pop that open, and my favorite friend, store-bought creme fraiche. There we go. See that all going in there? How simple, how easy. Get a little bit of the air out of that, seal that closed, and then with a very fine set of scissors, the teeniest, tiniest little snip. That's all I want. Watch me dress this for her. This is going to be absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to remind her and entice her on a flavor that's to come with just a little bit of sage. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cream of white asparagus soup, a creme fraiche topping, and some sage. 2 sauces are wonderful, black currant and cherry, and then there is our vermouth. 3 items all on one tray. If you're going to entertain, you need to learn this technique. I've got our soufflés all ready, and I'm going to plate by first laying Stephanie's fritter right on the bottom there. And I'll pick up that soufflé. Be careful, it can go right on the plate. And we're going to do 1 cut right through there. Grab your sauces. We're going to start with the vermouth as our base sauce right over there, and just a little drizzle. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right on the end there. And then the next thing is we're going to top with our beautiful cherry sauce. Oh, look at that. I can't wait for Stephanie to see this. Chocolate covered profiteroles. These are cream puffs. I pre-froze them a little bit so it's going to be easy for me to handle. I'm going to do a simple selection of 3 and a big scoop of whipped cream right on the top. Some fresh mint just to make that look perfect. And that will be the topper for our dinner for 2 by the fire. It's dinner by the fire on entertaining people. We've got a separate table set up. I want you to go to your favorite bed and bath store and find one of these great 3-legged disposable tables. You screw the legs in, you throw a tablecloth over it, and I've made my living room into an entirely different room. A cream of white asparagus soup.
Ooh.
With some sage to dig into that.
White
Let me see what you think.
asparagus.
Wow. Oh, perfect. 2 people, a table, a fire, and great food. Well, I'm going to start you off with this amazing spinach souffle, individual just for you. Yeah, it's like cream spinach kicked up.
It's really good.
So hot.
So cute.
And this is a sweet potato chive fritter. Crunchy on the edge right here.
Oh, let me try
There you go.
that.
We have 2 sauces on there. We have the vermouth sauce, and then we have a beautiful black currant and a wild cherry. Those are beautifully poached with peppercorns. Put this on 1 bite. Desserts here by the fire. Beautiful profiteroles, beautiful chocolate covered cream puffs. They're all gooey and chewy inside, and I made a rum fresh whipped cream. Takes about 3 seconds. But here's what I want to tell you about. First of all, we have this amazing Beringer Nightingale. It's 70% Saint-Emilion and 30% Sauvignon Blanc. But this is a treat. This is a bigger treat. These glasses, Mark Blackwell of New York, one of the hottest designers. Really special tableware.
They are beautiful.
And I brought them just for you to have. So I'm going to give you just a little sip of this beautiful dessert wine.
You feel so special.
Thanks for coming. You can do this. Just put the thoughts together. Go to entertainingpeople.com. I'll give you all the hints, all the tips. You can entertain like a pro. Mostly, you can open your heart and your home to your friends.